Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Warholy Talks Disneyland podcast. As always, I am your host, Warholy, here to talk about everything Disneyland and Disney-related topics. To all who come to this happy place, you are always welcome. Tonight is the night of a new step in the series, to which I finally have the pleasure of inviting my very first set of guests to the show. Say hi, ladies.
Hey!
Heyo! This topic of the episode is all about the fun, creative wonders of Disney bounding. And I knew right away that my special guests for the show were Sarah Sheppeck, Darienne Jordan, and Nichole Jaymes, who know what it's like to dress up and visit the Magic Kingdom where it can be Dapper Day any day. So let's start off the episode with a little intro of each of our guests. First up is Sarah Sheppeck, writer, singer, costume designer, actress, and model. She is the author of The Anatomy of a Breakup, a nonfiction art book chronicling a real-life breakup experience containing original essays, doodles, and poetry. Fun fact, I also helped create this book with pictures here and there.
He did the photography.
That's right, but it's all about the writing of Sarah Sheppeck. Be sure to purchase a Kindle copy on Amazon. And also be sure to visit her Instagram, Epic Sheppeck. I'll spell it out for you. EPICSHEPPECK. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right. Up next is Darienne Jordan, writer, author, and a wonderful poet. She is the author of The Mélange of her words, poems about life, love, and self-discovery. It's about a collection of poems, short stories, and essays detailing the life and love experiences of a young queer black woman. I've actually purchased this copy myself, and there is one inside that I am still inspired, and I have not done so yet, which I'm beating myself about. I'm still inspired to do a photo shoot based on one of your entries. I believe we talked about this before.
We did.
That's right.
We did.
You have time before she goes to England.
That's
to
right.
study film.
She is going to England. When are you heading out?
I'm leaving on the morning of July 13th.
The morning of July 13th. Oh, we better get rolling on this
Yes.
project then.
Yes.
Shoot. Oh my god, but congrats to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to all your wonderful adventures. And take lots of pictures. I gotta see them all.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Oh, and then I forgot to mention, unfortunately, Sarah Sheppeck is going to Maine.
In 1 week.
In one week.
A week from today.
Literally.
Oh my god.
I'm driving her ass.
Yeah.
Are you really driving?
Yeah, we're driving.
We are.
Route 66.
We're getting our kicks on Route 66 up to Chicago, and then we're driving across the top of the United States to Maine, and then I'm flying home. This is. You haven't been introduced to me yet. You'll find out who I am soon.
I wonder who that is, but we'll get to that in just a second. But once again, back to the mélange of her words. Be sure to pick up your own copy on Amazon, and be sure to follow her on Instagram at The Psalmist. ThePsalmist. Hi, Darienne.
Hey, what's good, y'all?
Oh, everything's good, of course. By the way, we've been having a wonderful time before the podcast, just having some wine,
We had a little tip.
There you go. You got to warm up
Few
for
percent.
That's right. Oh, who was that talking? That must be Nichole Jaymes.
C'est moi.
That's her, writer, singer, and model. She is featured in the. I want to say it was maybe about a year ago that it was featured. She was featured in "Let It Bleed" by Miss Pamela DeBar. Featured several times within the book, based from many class assignment submissions in Miss Pamela's writing workshop for over 7 years, 8 years,
10 years.
10 years. Wow,
Since I first moved to Los Angeles.
what I researched was bullshit then, not 7 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. So if you would like to pick up a copy of, to read a lot of Nichole's work, as well as many other dolls featured in the book, then be sure to purchase Let It Bleed by Miss Pamela DeBar on Amazon. Also, she is a very busy freelance writer for websites, magazines, including recent publications of Starseed Magazine, which is on its second issue, would it be?
Yep, second issue. It's like a rock and roll lifestyle magazine.
That's right. And she is also a wonderful model through my photography, a Warholy photography.
If you ever see me tagged in his work, I'm Ruby Tuesday.
That's right. She's credited as Ruby Tuesday, but tagged on Instagram as Modminx. MODMINX. Say hey, Nichole.
Hey.
Hey, there we go. All right. Well, got that intro down. Let's start off on the whole surface of the whole, get to know everybody through Disneyland and Magic Kingdom, how much we love Disney. So, this is, anyone can start. It's all good. But your first question is going to be, what is your favorite ride/attraction of Disneyland, or at least Disney World if you visited?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I have my answer.
I have my answer as well. You go first.
Splash Mountain. I mean, it has racist undertones because of Song of the South, but
That's
like
right.
the ride is awesome.
The ride is awesome, and Zippity Doodah is awesome.
Yes.
Oh yes.
It's a
I would
forever
even call
bop.
the racism overtones. They're not even quite
they're not
under.
undertones. They are
It's
very
over. The ride
very
remains
overtly
overtly racist,
Very
but
overtly
it's
racist.
And
still-
classist. There's a lot of
Very.
hillbilly
It's
stuff.
fun as
but
hell, though.
It's
Yeah.
with animals, so it's
all right.
It's okay. Yeah.
Brer Rabbit and Brer
Yes.
Fox and
Mhm.
Brer
Uncle
Bear.
Remus, who is not
Banjo.
Uncle Remus.
Ooh, right? I know.
Banjo stuff. You know,
Yike.
hillbillies.
He make the big yike.
You make the big yike.
Sarah, what's your favorite?
Well, my favorite ride was the Tower of Terror.
Oh.
Rip Disneyland
Rest in
California
peace.
Adventure Tower of Terror. Fuck Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Oh, are
yes,
we,
yes. Thank you.
Are we allowed to say bad words on this podcast?
He already
Go for
said
it.
bullshit.
Thank
I said
goodness.
bullshit.
Okay, good.
He already
This
said
is-
bullshit, so I'm taking my cues from that.
There's gonna be a few bleeps
Mhm.
on here otherwise.
So true to form, my favorite ride is now the Haunted Mansion
Hell
because
yeah.
I like creepy shit. And I'm going to be back on the East Coast in a week, so maybe the next time I go to a Disney park, I will go to Disney World and
Yes.
visit my favorite ride.
Yes.
Which
Is your
still the
favorite
Tower of
ride
Terror.
the drinking around the world game at Epcot?
No, I have
Oh,
failed to do that 3 times and gotten alcohol poisoning.
We
all
have
3
to do
times.
it. We have to do it. We will do it successfully together, the two of
We're
us.
gonna have to split the drinks.
It's fine.
And there's 13
We're
countries.
strategic.
Too many.
I've done Disney World, but I've never done Epcot. I was young when I went to Disney World, so
Right.
like I've never done like
Yeah.
drinking around the world.
I will succeed.
We'll make it happen.
Do you think Epcot was designed mostly for like a lot of older people? Because I know
Hell
some
yes.
yeah,
Absolutely it was.
a
Definitely.
lot of kids would get bored throughout
Yes.
that. But I've
Because
still
they're not drinking around the world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
true, that's
If
true.
we gave the kids alcohol.
No, Sarah.
Not me,
No.
what's that one right
Wrong
there?
choice.
Don't
Make
give
good
children
decisions.
alcohol.
No, don't do that. But it is a lifelong goal for me to spend at least a week in Disney World and visit first on Epcot
Yes.
all the way.
Epcot's-
Because
yeah.
it's the part we don't have here.
That's
we don't
right.
have a version of it.
Mm-mm.
That's right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my favorite park.
Oh goodness.
Nicole, what's your favorite ride?
Go for
Oh
it.
my gosh, okay, so in true Libra fashion, it's impossible for me to make small decisions.
Mhm.
You make big decisions, no problem,
That
but
was part of Libra bingo.
It was.
fuck you all. I have a handful of favorites.
Okay.
Number 1, and these aren't actually in order, I'm just listing them because it sounds more professional when I have numbers attached to them.
Right.
Number 1, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
It stays good.
Yes.
Okay, Haunted Mansion. Like my oh, I don't know where
Your
it is.
phone
Hold on.
wallpaper.
My phone wallpaper for years has been different versions of the Haunted Mansion.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, there's okay. That one I have not
Yep,
seen.
I used to have the one with all the eyes that was purple. This is from the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
Love Haunted Mansion. It's so good. Indiana Jones.
Oh, I was gonna say Haunted
Yeah.
Mansion is coming up on 50 years.
That's amazing. I
I
hope they
know.
release some good Disney pins for that.
Yes, they will.
I already have a glow-in-the-dark Haunted Mansion Disney pin, but I can get another. Indiana Jones
Yes.
stays good forever. I actually really liked Space Mountain before it became Star Wars.
Yes.
And
yes.
I
I
like Space
love
Mountain.
Star Wars.
Yes,
I
I
love
love both of
Star
them.
Wars, but I liked it before it had like glowing characters. I liked when it was just like a bunch of stars and you
Yep.
felt like you were soaring through space.
fair.
So
That's fair.
those are I would say those are
The music
probably
is
my
really
top
neat.
favorites. Probably
That's
Pirates,
true.
Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, Indiana Jones, and I also really like the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but I liked it better like before about 4 years ago when they revamped it. Now it's a smoother ride. I liked it when you felt like you were about
Bumpier.
to fly off.
Yeah.
Look
Yes.
at the goat.
Yes.
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 And I did really love Tower of Terror because it has everything I love, which is like creepy old deco
Twilight
Los
Zone.
Angeles. Yes.
And it was Twilight.
The music in the
Zone
lobby was
themed.
so good. It was all like 1920s, like creepy jazz. It was so good. There were, cobwebs everywhere.
There was a cohesive storyline.
There was.
That's right.
It was
Rod
fun.
Serling
Yep.
appeared.
The ghost waving goodbye.
Yes,
Yes.
the ghost waved goodbye and that signaled the drop.
Yes.
Yes.
I will be. I'm embarrassed to admit that as much as I've always wanted to go on Tower of Terror, I've never gotten the chance.
When you go to
To
Disney
Disney
World,
World.
then
Yes.
you will.
At Hollywood Studio, is it called Disney Hollywood Studios? No.
Yes, it's now Hollywood Studios.
Okay, because it used to be
It was
MGM back
MGM
then.
Studios the
That's
first
right.
time I went. Yeah.
But to rewind back on the rides you were mentioning, so for
I mentioned a lot of rides.
that's right. So for Star Wars, today is the opening day of Galaxy's
Galaxy's
Edge.
Edge.
That's right. Now I will say I'm as excited as I am for it. I'm probably going to go visit maybe like after a few months.
No, the park's going to be an absolute, like, unmentionable nightmare until probably October.
Yeah, that's when I plan to go.
went.
That's when I plan.
Pamela went yesterday or today. I can't remember. It was
She
either yesterday or
went?
today. She sent me out of context just a picture of an elaborate Dole Whip because I
I
love
have a
Dole
new
Whip.
one.
I love it
Oh
so
yes,
much.
yes.
And I was like, what is that amazing delight? And she's like, they made a new whole
Yes.
huge expanded
Yep.
like adventure land, and there's this new Dole Whip. It has like, you know, hibiscus and
Yes.
coconut and all this
oh,
stuff
she
on
didn't.
it.
Did she not know much about the
I'm gonna
Galaxy's
go
Edge
get it.
promo or anything? Or
No, I think
Before
she
I leave.
probably went for Galaxy's Edge.
but was she just saying like they just opened up this part of Adventureland just to tease you or something? Or
No, she knows that I have a deep, deep abiding love for Dole Whip in all its forms. Dole Whip
Yes.
floats, Dole Whip sundaes, Dole Whip just generally, and so.
By
she
the way,
was,
I
Yes,
give
we
you
did.
and Pamela credit for getting me into Dole Whip.
Yes, see,
When we went
We
together
got-
for the
I
Enchanted
forgot.
Tiki Room.
the tiki room.
That's right.
Yes.
By the way, that's
I
one of
forgot
my
that
favorite
we-
attractions of Disney.
Tiki, okay, here's the other
we also
thing.
ran after Moana.
We're so drunk.
We also need. We'll get to that very soon.
Oh, we
Yes.
will. We will.
No, we're
Um,
talking about how we spiked Dole Whips last time we were there. We're really good at
Ooh.
sneaking booze into Disney.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Very.
another thing that we also have to talk about.
Did she have reservations? You have to have reservations to Galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
now.
She
Currently.
Pamela has like
Until, like,
an
yeah.
annual pass though,
That's
so
right.
she you
So
know.
did we, but
Yeah,
you don't.
no.
We did not have reservations.
You have to have reservations for that
For the next
attraction
4
through
months.
the 31st.
Yes.
And
And
then like
go on. Sorry.
I'm like, because I plan to go the weekend before I leave to see it. I'm just planning to spend the whole time there, but like you have to have it. I looked it up. Like it's like through mid-June is when they're having all of their like reservations, and the reservations end, and then it's like, you know, open to the public.
Right. I've heard from a couple different sources that because it's still fairly new, there's of course going to be a lot of guests coming in.
Yeah.
You can only be in for a couple hours. They would give you a special wristband, and from what I heard, I can't confirm it. It was just talk on different sources that they have stormtroopers walking all around, and they make sure, based on the color of your tag, that they if you're over hours, they will kick you out. Like they
4
will
hours.
actually-
You're allowed to be there 4 hours and no
4
more.
hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine.
4 hours
Yeah.
is more than
So-
enough time to
Me.
explore everything, I think.
Yeah.
I don't
Four-
know yet because I haven't been.
That's
So
right.
the 4 hours will be plenty of time to explore the whole thing when the crowds thin out.
Yes.
In like Darienne's case, we have had annual passes, and like we've seen the park many times, so it's totally okay to like. It's gonna take the entire day
Yeah.
just to get to those 4 hours.
Yeah,
because
Right.
The
exactly.
lines are gonna be so long, and so many people are gonna be.
Oh
there.
my
like
God.
Halloween Horror Nights at
Like, that's
Universal
literally
Studios.
all I plan to do is like I will go into Disneyland, I will get snacks, I will go get my wristband and,
And
spend
just go
4 hours
wait,
in
yes.
Galaxy's Edge.
And
You know,
wait for
right.
stuff.
honestly, I'm excited about this because I love Disney and I love Star Wars. And the one thing I will say for Disney is they treat their properties that they own really well. All the intellectual properties that they own, they're really good to them. And so I really actually trust Disney. You know, the whole sort of corporate conglomerate thing is a whole other issue. But
Right,
like, if
right.
anyone is going to own Star Wars, I trust Disney with it because they know how to retain the magic and to really value and treasure the properties that they own.
Right. Plus, I was happy to see that they brought George Lucas on for the whole
Yes.
intro
Yeah.
and everything. Thank
I
God.
know.
Because nobody has heard from him in a long while, right?
Sometimes that's a good thing. He tends to. Okay, there's an old saying that is when the painting is done, shoot the painter.
Yeah.
The reason is because
Okay.
an artist never knows when to stop tinkering with their own work,
Yep.
and I think that
I'm
sometimes
guilty of that, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man. I'm
Staying
so
up until
guilty.
4 in the morning,
George
5 in the
Lucas
morning.
is
Yes.
really
6 in the
guilty.
morning, yeah.
George Lucas is so guilty of that I occasionally think the original 3 Star Wars films were luck.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, he doesn't know when to stop tinkering, but he's also the creative mind that brought this all into existence. So it needs to be the right balance of he's involved, but he also has somebody telling him, okay, we're taking you away now.
Yeah.
Right. You were mentioning, though, I'm sorry we interrupted, though, but you were mentioning
Yeah.
Dole Whips.
Oh
or
yeah, I
Enchanted-
will always mention Dole Whips.
Okay.
I will mention Dole Whips day and night. Hold on one moment. We're going to pour some
We're
wine.
getting Warholy wine because we're already drunk.
Yeah.
We already have wine in our glasses. Here, let me
And
pour
we
this
can-
for you.
Listen to
This
the
is
sweet sound
It is
of...
a Verdejo Viura wine of Spain, La Granja.
Oh, hey.
And we can segue from
Spill the wine. Okay, stop it.
we
Okay.
can segue from Dole Whip into how to spike your Dole Whips.
Oh yes,
Literally.
please
We're so
give us
good.
some insider
We're
tips.
so good at sneaking booze into Disneyland.
Sneaking booze into Disneyland in general.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not that hard, but
No,
we
we
are
know.
still really good at it.
Yes, we are.
That's
So-
what she said.
Mm.
So the first thing that we noticed is that because so many people are coming out of Disneyland on any given day, and because you're allowed to bring food and drink into Disneyland as long as it's sealed, or as long as, it's very clearly like in a clear Ziploc bag or something.
Yeah.
If you take a clear plastic water bottle, dump it out, and fill it with vodka, they're not going to check to make sure that there is indeed water
Or
inside.
gin or silver rum.
Yeah, or any white liquor.
Yes.
We have also filled Snapple bottles with whiskey.
You did that last time you were at Disney, because it was the last time I was at Disney, and I bore witness to this. It was a raspberry Snapple iced tea bottle, and it was the exact shade of Fireball whiskey.
Yes. You are right.
Was this on Dapper Day?
It was
Sure
on
was.
Dapper Day.
That's right. Oh, we'll get into that later, too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Dapper Day.
We
for
bounded
sure.
right into that Dapper Day.
Yeah, so if you are inclined... And the thing is, normally we wouldn't just be publicizing the fact that we're sneaking booze into someplace, but as you well know, as much as we all love Disney, that's why we're here, the prices are ridiculous.
Yes.
And if you're of legal drinking age and you don't want to pay $16 a cocktail,
Man.
put it in a water bottle.
Literally.
Also,
and
they don't
mint
have
julep.
they don't have alcohol in Disney. You have to go to California Adventure.
California Adventure or downtown Disney.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
I will say, the landmines at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen will light you up.
All the way. We have a
Really?
whole
What's in
hashtag
that?
based on that.
Moonshine!
Oh, shit. No way.
Yes.
We have a whole inside joke based off of the first time we had landmines.
We went to Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen in downtown Disney 3 years ago when I was still living... No, 4 years ago now, because I was still living in Vegas. We had 2 with dinner. The main ingredient of those is moonshine. And we got so drunk that the poor, classically trained violinist who was outside busking for his life had to deal with us screaming the words tunelessly to the Disney songs he was playing.
Oh, no.
And we came up with the inside joke, hashtag too drunk to hit that note. He was playing "Let It Go" on violin, and we stumbled drunkenly out of the.
Here's the thing, though. I happen to know that both of you have voices of an angel, so I refuse to believe that it was worse than what he gets on a typical night.
no,
it was probably better.
We were very drunk.
Shit cans.
We were real drunk. We were lit.
You were moonshined.
We were
I had
so
just
drunk.
moved to LA.
We were so drunk that we walked into the Disney store, the big
My
one.
favorite.
Yeah.
And
That's where I get all my
and
pins.
spent 30 seconds trying to figure out if the display was rotating or if we were so drunk that the room was moving.
We were real drunk,
And we
y'all.
still don't know what the
Not
answer
a round
was.
of applause.
Also, don't drink and drive. I was staying at Disneyland Hotel,
Yes,
which is at
yes.
the end of...
Okay, good.
And
yes,
I made the other person who was with us move my car.
We made the sober person move Darienne's car. Nobody
Here's the
drove
thing:
it.
if you're gonna drink alcohol at a place where alcohol is typically not allowed, don't be a dick, okay? Like, just don't be a dick. There's so many ways to do it where you're having fun. Everyone's having fun. 50% of the people at this table are currently drinking while I say this.
Right.
Just don't be a dick, okay? If you can't handle your liquor, then don't do it, because you're going to make the time worse for everybody. But if you can handle it and you have, like, safe boundaries in place, and you have a place to stay, and or you have a ride, and or you don't become an asshole when you're drinking, then go ahead and have fun.
One of my fondest memories of us drinking at Disneyland was our first Dapper Day.
I was going to say, is this Tom Sawyer's Island?
Tom Sawyer's Island. So
What?
this is when we first realized that you could sneak alcohol in a water
This
bottle.
was the very first time we ever did it. So just so we're clear, because I know we've been spending a lot of time talking
Just so
about
we're ever
booze.
clear.
No, please, this is perfect.
so we're-
This is
well
good.
Just so
done.
we're ever clear.
No,
I'm available for witticisms 24/7.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All I do.
Disneyland has always been fun for us. We have gone 50 times because we had APs and we're trying to make that money worth it. Sober. And the very first time that we ever went with alcohol was a year ago. It was for our 2018 spring Dapper Day. We brought a water bottle filled with vodka.
It was fall because we did Maleficent.
You're right.
November 2017.
November 2017.
Did I
a
mention
year
we're
and a half
drinking
ago.
right now?
But yeah, the point is, we went many times before we ever brought in booze. We brought in 2 water bottles filled with vodka. We bought mint juleps from the French market. We took the mint juleps on the barge to Tom Sawyer's Island. We had bought those little souvenir parasols.
Yeah.
And we put up our parasols and hid behind them and dumped the vodka into our mint juleps and then got, like, shit-faced.
Yes.
Okay, but did you get the mint juleps with the light up cubes in them or not?
We
They
wanted.
were too
They were. No, it wasn't that they were too expensive. It was that they had
they
limited
ran out.
edition Halloween
Yeah,
ones
they
that we
ran
wanted,
out.
and they ran out.
Oh.
I thought you can only get the cubes at the Blue Bayou.
No, there's
No, you can
different
get.
places.
Yeah,
around.
you
Okay.
can get the cubes at a couple places, but
We've also just like picked up random cubes that we
have.
found.
Yeah, we have quite a
And,
few.
like,
I was going to mention, I still have that cube that when we all dined at the Blue Bayou, I still have that cube to this day.
Amazing.
Trader
Yeah.
Sam's
Yep.
has
Yep,
them. Yeah, that French market that sells them at Juleps has them. There are a
DCA
couple
has
places.
them.
See,
DCA has
Disney
them.
makes everything magical, even fake ice cubes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. No, I love those. So yeah, we poured our drinks in there, and then all we did, because the island is chill, is like we just walked around and were drunk on Tom Sawyer's Island.
Yes.
We walked up to Huck Finn's treehouse, and then all of a sudden realized we were talking very loudly. And we just hung out there until we calmed down a little bit, and then we left. We didn't get on any roller coasters because we're not trying to
no,
puke.
you're not trying
Yeah.
to
We
puke.
didn't bother anyone.
No.
We just...
If the worst thing that
Did our
happens when
thing.
you're having a few is you get a little bit loud, then go for it. If worse things happen, then don't do it, okay? Just like don't do it. Don't make it worse for everybody else. If you being tipsy enhances the experience for not just yourself but all the guests, then do it.
Right. Oh, also to add, because I heard you guys were saying it's like you can't drink in Disneyland unless you're in Disney California or Downtown Disney, or unless you're a member of Club 33.
Dude,
Who has money
for
that, though?
lifelong
Big
goals.
life
Which
goals.
has, what is
Lifelong
it,
goals.
10 to 15 year waiting
Wait
list,
list.
$10,000
Deposit.
deposit,
Right.
and then annual
I
dues.
knew somebody
Right.
who went to that.
Yeah,
I know
I
three people
know,
who went
I
to
know
that.
3 people who have been to that, and none of them will help a sister out.
Listen, it is harder to get into than the Skull and Bones. It is ultimate goals. Someday, I will get into there, and I'm taking everybody with me. Not everybody, but like the people I'm talking to right now.
Vice versa.
I don't
Vice
like
versa.
enough people. That it's a lifelong goal. One day before I die, I could be 93. I probably will because I'm actually Moana's grandma in real life. So someday I will be an old lady, really tattooed, dancing in the water, and I don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to get a membership, but I'll do it, and then I will go inside there, and I'll be like, oh, that was cool for 24
Abigail
hours.
Disney is pretty woke. You should see if she's into women.
Wait, what?
I should see if I'm into women.
I
don't have
think
to
you're.
have full-on sex.
I think you're at least 15% of the women.
These guys have stronger opinions about my...
85-15.
I told you,
Yeah.
I said 15%. I think you're at least 15% of the
I
women.
think she's an above the waist.
Yeah, she's like above the waist lesbian. She likes
So.
titties
I
and
really
like
like-
maybe making
and
out with
mouths.
girls.
I like Rihanna's tits.
And like making
Gonna
out,
lie.
yeah.
And Beyonce's.
I just like, honestly, everything on Beyonce. Like, every
You
part
like
of
my
Beyonce.
tits.
Well, they're magnificent. So are
Do
yours,
you want
actually,
them?
honestly.
If you want them, I'll give them to you.
Please.
Warholy's gonna have to edit.
They're
this
currently
entire-
they're yes.
currently holding up their boobs. So,
We've
you know.
been friends for too long, okay? You can hold up your boobs if you'd like to.
Welcome to the Disneyland
Yay!
podcast.
He did it!
Oh, guys, he just, like, double cupped himself. It was amazing.
Welcome to
Yep.
the Disneyland podcast. I'm currently smacking my ass on.
That was the
Yeah.
second best thing that happened tonight after you
My
choking
God.
on your wine when we did our cheers.
Children, I'm sorry to have hurt your virgin
I was
ears.
like,
oh my
the
God.
poor 15-year-olds
No,
who
no,
are
no.
gonna stumble on this podcast.
You can edit any
Yeah, I
of this
can
out
edit.
that you need to.
I can edit this.
And it'll make it seem really secret and special.
I mean, anytime in the future, I'll put this on the special features.
This can be a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Holy
Yes,
shit.
unedited.
Nice. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love how that was all just from one question. That's perfect. That was great. No, it's great. It's perfect. It's awesome. All right. So for this next question, you actually answered one of them, which was great. But you can
He's
still answer
pointing
some
at
more.
Sarah.
Sarah, I'm pointing at. Okay. Next question is, what do you miss at Disneyland that is not there anymore?
You. Soon to be you.
Soon to be me. No, I absolutely miss the Tower of Terror, but technically it's at DCA, so like, I guess at Disneyland in particular, what have they recently gotten rid of? You're gonna have to edit this. Now I have to think about it.
Go for it. No, it's okay.
Well, like, they shut down like half the park to make Star Wars.
They did. I actually think that I haven't seen it in person. The new castle looks beautiful.
Yes.
So I don't.
They redid the castle?
They
Yeah,
redid
they
the
redid
castle.
it. Yeah.
It's been behind a tarp for like 3 months.
Holy
Wait, you didn't know about this?
Heck.
Yeah.
You did not know about this?
No, I did
Yeah.
not.
I'm going to show you a quick picture. Just keep going on.
Keep
going.
talking. He's going to show me a quick pic.
No, there have been a couple things that have changed just since we've been there, and now I'm trying to think if there's anything that I was really sad about them getting rid of besides the Tower of Terror.
That's a huge one. That's not a small thing.
No, it's a huge thing.
A lot of people were pissed.
I was trying to
Yeah.
succumb to semantics because he specifically said Disneyland, but no, Disneyland has made some really great changes, and I actually also love Pixar Pier. I love the additions that they made to Pixar Pier, but I'm like actively angry. And the thing is, like, I like the Marvel movies. I'm not angry about like Disney acquiring Marvel. But the whole point of Walt Disney starting Disney World is because there was more space in Florida to expand.
Right.
And the city of Anaheim does not have that space. And so every time they add something new, they have to get rid of something. And I don't like that process.
Right.
So, like, I'm very upset that they got rid... California Adventure is actually my favorite park because I love that old Hollywood, like, 1930s,
Yeah.
40s,
Art
50s
Deco,
Burbank.
film noir kind of stuff.
That I love that aesthetic, and so I'm very sad that they're getting rid of that to replace it with superheroes
In
Right.
Frozen World.
and Frozen. And I would prefer it to be both. And so,
Would you consider, out of all the parks and of all just out of history of just, Disneyland to Disney parks, would you consider Disney California to be the one to have gone through the most changes?
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It hasn't even been
100%.
around that long. It opened
Nope.
in what,
like
2000?
25 years ago.
Yeah. I don't
was
even
it the
think it-
No,
90s?
not 25 years ago. I was
I think
probably
it was
9 or
the
10.
I think it was the 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
California Adventure, I remember when I was a kid in the 90s seeing like the ads for like California Adventure is going to start. I think, I mean, maybe it was just really early ads, but I remember in the 90s seeing ads for California Adventure.
Oh, was one of them possibly Disney characters looking over a hedge?
I can't
Like
remember.
saying, what's going on over there?
I can't remember what it looked like. You know what? I'm going to
Look
keep
it up
talking.
right
I'm gonna-
now.
What Disney
I'm-
California looked like back then?
No, when it
No,
opened.
when it opened. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it opened in the 2000s. I don't even think it's been around
I
for
don't have
25
service
years
right
yet.
now.
Hang on. I'm
Hell,
gonna look
I
it
can
up.
connect you to the Wi-Fi if you need to.
But yeah, it hasn't even been around that long. It's actually been around less time than Disney's Hollywood Studios, formerly
Right.
MGM Studios. It's that park, and it's gone through so much change because they have so little space. And so everything that doesn't directly fit into the Magic Kingdom gets shoveled over there, but something else has to get raised in order to create it,
Right.
which is super frustrating.
I'm going to be honest. At first, I was mad about how much space was devoted to Cars when they did Cars Land, but then I
Yeah.
went
I
on
love
the Cars
Cars Land.
ride, and it was so good.
It was
It's one
worth
of my
it.
favorites in Disney California Adventure, honestly.
California Adventure
But
was opened in 2001.
2001.
Shit,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So
then
it's-
they had
yeah.
ads for it literally years in advance.
Yes,
Yes,
they did.
they do that.
It's amazing.
They
I
had
mean,
a
they've
lot.
been-
They had a lot to build.
They've been talking
Disney's-
about Galaxy's Edge since we moved to Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
I have a
True, true.
whole shirt that's dedicated to Galaxy's Edge that, like, I got New Year's of, like,
Last year.
2018.
Right.
Yeah, they've
Cool.
been. Yeah,
Collector's
they
items
always
someday.
promote things
Yeah.
years in advance because they
Hold
know
on
they're
to
going to sell
Yes.
out and book up.
Yes, girl.
Oh man! But going back to the Disney Castle itself,
Yes.
the Sleeping Beauty Castle. So it was even more than just a few months that they decided to revamp up the castle, in basically because of Galaxy's Edge, and they called this new look the Stardust.
Something to that effect. Yeah.
Right.
Like the casino in Las Vegas.
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go. So when I last I went with Rachel was back in February of this year.
Right.
By the way, it's 2019. Welcome to 2019. So I went knowing that they were going to block off the view, or at least they would put a big wooden gate around the castle.
They did.
I was upset because even though I've
It's
taken...
iconic. It's the most iconic view in all of
Right,
Disneyland.
exactly. But I mean, even though I took Rachel last year in June, we got pictures in front of the castle, no problem. I still wanted to try to get pictures in front of the castle this year because, I mean, we're foreshadowing to the topic. We were Disney bounding as Minnie and Mickey, which was a lot of fun. And so, knowing there was a wooden gate, I was so disappointed. I let Rachel know ahead of time. She says, it's fine. There's no big deal. Nothing to worry about. So we're walking down Main Street early in the morning, walking over to the lockers, and I'm just looking down, not really. I was actually trying to set up my Max Pass, and then Rachel says, "Hey Daniel, look up." I look up, and what Sarah explained in front of the Disney Castle is not only just a tarp in front of the entire thing, it's a tarp showing the painted preview of the castle. I cracked the fuck up.
Yeah.
Disney is so next level, dude.
They
Yes,
are.
they are.
Yeah.
I cracked up so much because before seeing the castle, I just had that disappointed, mood about it. I look up, everything changed because of how hilarious it was, and this is, oh my god, this is what it looked like in the background.
Oh, it's like a whole entire thing.
Yes, they filled up the entire thing so nobody would
Exciting.
see it or take pictures here and there. I think, honestly, I don't think they did much with the castle except just boost up the colors. That's it.
No, that is, they have since showed several previews. It's done. The castle's done.
Yeah.
They've revealed it. They dropped the tarp. All they did was it is now more overtly pink, blue, and gold.
Yes.
It's not like, it looks great. It's
less monochromatic.
It's a noticeable
Right.
but not like upsetting level of makeover.
So this is a fun thing. My mom grew up in California. I grew up all over the country.
Right.
My mom grew up in the Bay Area, and I have a picture of her from, I think, early 1960s.
Okay.
Disneyland had not even been open for 10 years. It was brand new.
Right.
I have a picture of her as a little girl, black and white picture, standing in front of the castle. And it's amazing to me because it's a picture I've taken, many times before in the same exact space. And it's incredible to think of a time when Disneyland was new, like when it barely existed. It was just a brand new thing. So I have a picture of my mom as like a little 5 or 6 year old standing in front of the castle in the early 1960s in a black and white photo. And that is just so amazing to me because it's almost like we take Disneyland for granted. It's such a thing. It's a culture. It's a part of our cultural consciousness. And to think there was a time when it was like, it's brand new and you go down from San Francisco to Anaheim and like go to Disneyland because it's like this brand new attraction. It's so mind-boggling. So that's really fun. I mean, the castle is so iconic, and I'm excited to see what it's going to look like.
I think that these days it is taken for granted because of how, I mean, like you said, when Disneyland was opening up, there was barely any knowledge of what an amusement park or a theme park in this sense
Set the
was.
standard, yeah.
Sure.
Nowadays, how many theme parks do we have all around America that people can compare Disneyland to?
People
can come. Yeah, exactly. People can come from Florida, knowing that they visited Disney World a lot of times. They'll come to Disneyland. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm saying that there's a percentage that they might not be as impressed because of everything that they've seen in
Disney World is actually like the upgraded version. I love Disneyland because it is so retro and so like OG.
It's the original one.
It's historical.
But literally per Walt Disney's vision before he died, Disney World is the superior incarnation of the park. That's why that's why they bought the land.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely true.
Oh goodness! Anything else that we miss at Disneyland, Darienne? Do you have anything in mind?
No,
like
all been said.
So much, but keep going and we'll answer.
All right, we'll just go ahead to the last question.
Yes.
This one, I mean, you guys will probably know it at the top of your head. Maybe think about it. Which Disney character do you feel the most connected with, or which Disney character would you choose to be?
Oh,
I know
I
this
have two
right
different
off the top
answers.
Go
of
for
my
it.
head.
So, like, the one I identify most with is Mulan. The character I most want to be is the evil queen.
From Snow White.
From Snow White, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I most want to be. I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, and Disney has done a few incarnations of Alice in Wonderland. They've done the Wonderful World of Disney live action version, which I actually think is far superior to the 1950s animated version. So I have a connection to Alice, but I think the character that I most want to be is Mama Odie from The Princess and the Frog.
Oh, okay.
Just like an old blind voodoo queen who has a pet snake and lives in a boat in a tree.
There's
is
time.
Like a whole ass
There's
mood.
time.
There's still time. She's old. Like, I have time.
I could also see, honestly, either one of you ending up like Tia Dalma from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yep. Again, voodoo queen living in the swamp, being fabulous.
Fun fact.
You're the new redhead. Have you gotten to see her since they switched out the redhead?
Not yet. No.
Oh my god,
now.
she's beautiful.
Yes!
She's perfect.
She has a gun now and she runs an
She a
auction.
pirate. Yes.
And it's not a human auction.
Yes, it's not.
Yes,
It's not like
she's the
human
new redhead.
trafficking
Yeah,
anymore.
She's amazing. She even has her own dialogue too.
She does.
It's
She has
perfect.
dialogue.
You texted me, I think, from Disneyland the first time you saw it because you were so excited for me to know about it.
Just as we walked off the ride, getting back into New Orleans, she was there as a meet and greet.
Awesome.
And I was very close to wanting to go say hi to her, but there were so many people surrounding her because she's still a new meet and greet Disney character.
And I don't even think she's a regularly occurring meet and greet. I remember asking somebody the last time that I was in the park, It was when we went for Dapper Day and we asked about Moana.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in Adventureland and New Orleans Square is like a special occurrence. Like they don't have a schedule for those characters. It's kind of like if the cast member is there that day, they appear.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Exactly. Thank you, Carmen.
Speaking of that, because I remember when you and I went, was it you that went with me that we saw Tiana over at New Orleans Square?
Probably. I've seen Tiana twice, I think. I was with you one of the times.
One of the times. And it was such perfect timing because the Mark Twain was passing right by.
Yes.
The pictures were amazing. Oh, my God. Yeah. Perfect timing.
I love the guy who plays Dr. Facilier.
His outfit is fucking amazing.
The actor is so fun. He just, they're like...
Oh, you mean in Disneyland Meet and Greet?
No. Okay. They're so fun. The actor is so fun, and that guy is really committed to his character. They all are, but, like, he's a sass master.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, Facilier, being a play on facile, which is easy, in New Orleans is known as the Big Easy.
Yes.
You didn't get to answer which Disney character you feel connected with.
Here's the thing, there are a couple.
Okay, go for it.
As always. Moana's grandma, Gramatala, just feel her so hardcore. She's just like doing her own shit on a tropical island, being weird. And I relate to her strongly. She's just who I am, not even me. Like, that's not me in 50 years. That's just me right now today.
Right.
Belle also, nose in a book and being kind of weird and offbeat.
Singing
and everyone's
mean
like
songs about the people in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and everyone's like, damn, she's pretty, but she's so strange. I relate to that deeply. So that's another one. My childhood hero was Ariel. Mm-hmm. A lot of sassy redheads in my childhood hero lexicon. There was Madeline, there was Pippi, there was Ariel. So she's another favorite. And Princess Jasmine to me is like the ultimate woman. So, I'm not Jasmine. I wish that I was. I have been her for Halloween. I had like the Jasmine slippers when I was a kid. I had the Jasmine doll when I was a kid. I was obsessed with Aladdin when it came out. And I'm not really Ariel. I would say Ariel is more kind of my power animal, like who I want to be when I'm like, in Hawaii and I'm going, snorkeling or scuba diving and I'm like having a tropical adventure. But in real life, I'm probably a, strange as it seems, combo of Gramatala and Belle.
Moana's grandma and Belle are both way stronger characters than Ariel.
It's true.
Okay,
they are. It's more Ariel sort of like the adventure that she gets to have. Yeah.
That's right. And I'll just add for this question too, for the whole Disney character, it's multiple. One is easily Mad Hatter. I've always loved to transcend with him and try to do my own like psychedelic interpretation, as everyone has always goddamn seen on Instagram and all that shit. Even though he's not human, Herbie the Love Bug.
Dude, one of the greatest. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mine most of all. Right there. My favorite Disney. We're all just like dancing to this.
Groovy pop. Groovy.
Everybody grooved just now except for
Hell yes. Oh my gosh. One of the greatest movies of my childhood.
That's right. Oh my God. Just had its 50th anniversary that I went all out and celebrated. Oh, like just watching movies, doing a little tribute on Instagram here and there. Oh my God. One last, and it's kind of specific. I felt I transcend a little more with Mickey Mouse in the context of the Mickey Mouse cartoons that have been released for the past few years, because of not only just its new animation, but how they've given more expression with, jokes, dorkiness here and there. It's just something you would never have seen in the 30s and 40s.
Definitely Mickey Mouse is having a bit of a renaissance, and actually one of our collective favorite cosmetic companies, Besame Cosmetics, which is a local Los Angeles female owned, Latina
POC
owned yes. Business, cruelty free. It's amazing. Besame Cosmetics, it's amazing. They have a flagship store in Burbank. Highly recommend everyone check them out. They sell some of their stuff through Sephora, but mostly on their website. They do a lot of Disney collaborations, and they recently did a 90th anniversary Mickey Mouse, and they released a lipstick that is the exact shade of Mickey's shorts.
2 lipsticks.
Yes, they also did a lipstick called Ink and Paint, and when you look at it in the tube, it looks black, but you put it on, it's like a sheer berry. differently.
Oh.
It's amazing. It like reacts to the pH in your lips, so it looks a little bit different on everybody.
Right.
But then they also did one that is an exact replica of the shade of Mickey's shorts from like back in the day when the original cartoons in the 20s and 30s were coming out.
I'm gonna have to suggest this to Rachel then.
No, Besame is fantastic. I buy all
Besame
of my
Cosmetics. Look them up. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on their website, and you can find them in store in Burbank in the Magnolia Park district. Save Magnolia Park. I'm very, very, very passionate about this. I live in Burbank.
Right.
Magnolia Park is a beautiful little arts district that's in danger of gentrifying and corporatization, and Besame Cosmetics is one of the small locally owned businesses that I feel very strongly about supporting. So,
Right. Power.
Mickey's absolutely going through a renaissance, and of course Disney's doing a whole 90th.
I love how you looked at your tattoo right before you got into it too.
Yes.
Okay, Sarah has
I have a
vintage Mickey and
1930s
Minnie.
Minnie tattoo on my
Right.
They're doing the 90th birthday celebration for him at the parks, and a lot of people have been Disney bounding as Mickey and Minnie within their
Which
in
you
their
will
birthday
talk about
costumes.
soon.
Oh, I
yes.
will. Yeah, we'll all
Yes.
talk about some stuff. soon.
I think one of the great things about the more recent Mickey cartoons and movies, and the ones that like we might have grown up with in real time,
Right.
is that again, and Walt Disney always wanted Disney to like keep progressing. He has
Right.
that quote about keep moving forward. You know, times change, and Disney is no exception to falling into like this minstrel show,
Yeah.
overtly offensive, like, you know, nationalist propaganda
Right.
attitude of the eras that the original cartoons were released in. And so like the original Mickey Mouse cartoons were sometimes offensive. They were sometimes just straight up like pro-America, anti-commie, like propaganda pieces. And I think that honestly, I think there's something deeply unethical about things that are promoted to children having these ulterior motives. And so the newer ones still they have jokes that make sense to older people, but they don't have like subversive messages.
Right.
One of the
that are
things that I
catering
think
to
has
other
been
people.
great about Disney is that they have grown with the times and they've adapted, and they have been willing to go beyond and away from some of the problematic material of their past.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Disney as a company, is that they do strive to be a living, growing, organic thing that moves with the times and become more enlightened over time.
Right. You were also just mentioning progression, you know, over Disney characters here and such. I personally think, speaking of when it comes to the Mickey and Friends characters, the one character who has had, in my perspective, the most progression, not by cartoon design but by personality, is Goofy.
That's my husband.
Big example is a Goofy
You have a lot
movie.
of husbands. One of them is David Bowie.
One of them is
Heyo.
David
One of
Bowie,
them is
I
Dick
love-
Van Dyke.
and one of them is Lin-Manuel Miranda, but I love Goofy.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, the biggest example would have to be a Goofy movie, because you don't see any of the other characters going through the real life responsibility of being a parent.
A Goofy movie is the greatest animated Disney movie of all time, coming to you at a later Warholy podcast.
Yes, we will speak.
We will discuss a Goofy movie.
I would
please.
love to talk about that. That's my
Oh my
childhood.
gosh, my childhood. Seriously.
Also the blackest Disney movie of all time, but that's a thesis for another time.
Okay, but also
I want to hear this thesis really bad. There's a lot of disco.
There's a lot of black.
Yeah.
We'll get to it later.
We will. Please, like, I want more in this series.
But also for a little like fun fact here, share. You mentioned this to me before. Who did you share an apartment with? Not an apartment room, but I mean an apartment complex with.
When I first moved to LA, I moved into an apartment building that also contained Tevin Campbell, who played the voice of Powerline.
Woo!
I still remember the day that you texted me this fact,
Yes.
and it was glorious.
I
It
saw
was
him one time
fantastical.
in the elevator.
Yep.
Just one time.
Just the one time.
Did you get to speak to him?
I did not say hi. I was.
Were you an
freaking out.
awkward turtle?
I was being real fucking awkward. Yes.
I mean, okay. I would also say a Goofy movie has gotten a little bit more popular because of a lot of like, especially for like Hot Topic to bring out. Remember when they were just releasing the Powerline tour shirts and everything?
I was wondering where everyone was getting those.
What?
That's Hot Topic.
I kept
Yeah, do you not know
seeing
about this?
people-
No.
Oh, look it up. A friend of mine
Don't you
has
think I
them.
would've
seeing-
bought
I
one
kept
if I had
seeing
known?
people wearing them and being
Oh,
like, I love that
dude.
shirt. Where did you get it? I was looking for Powerline Tour t-shirts when I was in college in 2009, and apparently Hot Topic hadn't bought the licensing yet.
It was originally Hot Topic, and then they stopped selling because of demand, and other stores and other websites started making their own little copies.
They were licensing
To
it to
Etsy.
everybody, I'm sure.
But this is how it would look on the front.
Dude.
95.
That's the most 90s thing I've seen in my entire life.
And then they add the tour dates in the back.
That is so incredible.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about Powerline?
I love Powerline.
Go on.
I don't know what else to
Talk
say.
to us about Tevin Campbell.
I mean, Tevin Campbell is one of the greatest singers of the 90s and very underrated.
Very.
Does he
criminally
have the
underrated.
range?
Yes.
Has the range.
Somebody tried to say on Twitter that he didn't have the range, and Black Twitter dragged her.
A black person said that Tevin
Black
Campbell
Twitter
didn't have
dragged
the range,
her.
and Black Twitter dragged her.
Like,
educate
drag.
yourself.
Snatched her entire wig.
Yes. DT. Yes.
I will also mention, before I even looked up who played Powerline, I used to think it was either Michael Jackson or Prince.
That's a
he
fair
was-
assessment.
Yeah,
The character was clearly
Yeah.
based on the two of those
Right.
characters. Yes.
But Tevin Campbell was the voice.
This is part of my thesis about why it's one of the blackest Disney movies of all
Do you want to
time.
give us this quick little summary?
I'll give you some
Thesis,
hints.
summary.
Thesis.
All
Sorry,
right.
yeah.
Thesis summary. In this essay, I will discuss. No, but really, Max.
What had happened in the movie was...
Max is referred to as a hooligan, and the way that he dresses with his slouchy clothing is specifically mentioned by his principal.
Okay.
Powerline, who is portrayed as the biggest star on a planet, is not only played by Tevin Campbell, who is a black man, but also is clearly a conglomerate of Michael Jackson and Prince, who are also black men. And then there is the sort of socioeconomic disparity between Max and Goofy, and then the friends that he goes to school with, implying some sort of class difference. And thanks to institutionalized racism, there's often a correlation between race and socioeconomic status. So basically, where my thesis is going is that Goofy and Max are black people, and that's what the movie's about.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You've heard it here on Warholy Talk. Hopefully we can talk more about that in
Truly, I mean, I want us all to agree right now that one day we will do a podcast, guesting, talking entirely about a Goofy movie.
Which, I mean, if it'll happen after you guys move, we'll do like this on Skype or something.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. All right, so let's bring this first half of the episode to a close. We'll be right back after this short break. Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying the podcast. Just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Warholy Talks Disneyland, and a big welcome to anyone who would like to be on the next episode. I'm always grateful for the people that have joined my podcast to talk everything Disney, but I'm always seeking new and fun Disney-loving folk who'd like to be a guest on the show. So, if you're up for joining, if you have a Disney park topic to discuss, or if you just want to hang out and talk anything Disney, then be sure to hit me up on my email address, which is warholytalksdisneyland@gmail.com. Once again, it's warholytalksdisneyland@gmail.com. I'm really hoping to meet more of you Disney fanatics. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. Welcome back to episode 3 of Warholy Talks Disneyland. We are now jumping into the main topic of this episode, Disney bounding. For those who are not aware of Disney bounding yet, let me just give you a little bit of brief history on what this amazing revolutionary thing is. Disney bounding was started by Leslie Kay in 2013. The term Disney bound was created by accident from Leslie on a Disney fan blog. She was writing about how excited she was for an upcoming visit to Walt Disney World, and she mentioned being quite literally Disney bound. Soon after, she started creating outfits that were inspired by Disney characters, which started receiving popular feedback on the blog, which then became her main focus. Her followers grew and grew at such a fast rate that she was soon invited onto TV to talk about her Disney bounding idea, national TV. While she doesn't want to claim ownership of the idea, she certainly does deserve the credit for the name of the trend for Disney fans. The main purpose of it is to express your love and admiration for Disney and Disney characters throughout fashion. The reason why it's such an important pillar in the society of big Disney fans is because it gives fans of all ages to find that creative way to pay homage to their favorite Disney character without having to wear a replica costume, which you can in fact get big trouble at the Disney parks. You can get kicked out. The big rule is that no guest over the age of 14 is allowed to wear a costume of a Disney character, because doing so would confuse so many guests for thinking that you are an official meet and greet character, which gets in the way of actual cast members and their job of playing the role of a character. Therefore, Disney would have to deny your entry into the park. Or if you're in the park, once again, they'll kick you out.
I didn't know the cutoff was that young.
Yeah.
But I guess that makes
I
sense.
think it's between 12 and 14.
That makes sense as they have some teenage characters.
Right.
Yeah.
From what I've heard from like news about a couple years ago, a girl walked into Disney World dressed up as Tinkerbell, and she was maybe about 17, 18 years old.
She was tiny and dressed as Tinkerbell.
Right.
So,
She was so excited to do this, and they just kicked her out, and it was all over the news. Bless you.
Thank you.
All right. You could have sneezed into the mic. I wouldn't care.
No, that's gross.
Oh, it's okay. Not literally, but I mean the sound of it. Now, the fun perks of Disney bounding. It is a way of thinking and creating. Oh, it's a way of thinking and creating in a very fun, creative manner in both color scheming and creating a harmony of each piece that creates an outfit. It gives people of all ages more of the confidence and freedom to express themselves, not just as a Disney fan, but as well as a fashionista. It encourages compliments and sometimes new friendship in the Disney parks, and I speak from experience myself, when one or more would recognize your Disney bounding outfit of the day. It's used in a fun, safe, and overall appropriate / non-offensive manner. It can be put together in a cheap or non-spending way by just starting off simple by seeing what clothes you have in your own room that you can put together. It created a whole new platform of expressing how much fans adore Disney culture. Before we get into the main questions, can anybody make a guess of how many times they've done Disney bounding or at least dressed up for visiting the park?
I have always I've dressed up for visiting the park my entire adult life.
Right.
And since I've had a pass for the last few years, it's upwards of 60 times.
Wow.
I've Disney bounded probably 36 times.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The last 3 years that we've been living in LA, we've been Disney bounding whenever we go.
Would you say the same, Darienne?
Yeah, I've done a couple of Disney bounds where I didn't go to the park because I didn't make it for May the 4th and
we
and
bounded
Revenge
for
of
your
the 5th.
birthday and
Oh yeah, you don't even have to go into
So,
the
I
park to
literally
Disney
did
bound.
yeah, you
So
can
I
Disney
went-
bound from
yeah.
everywhere, and some of the most popular Disney bounders on Instagram don't live near the
Yeah.
parks. They
right.
just do it.
Yeah, I
From
went to
home.
work and I did Han Solo on May the 4th and I did
Yes.
Darth Maul, my favorite Star Wars villain, on Revenge of the 5th.
Did anybody immediately recognize you for dressing up?
On Instagram, yes.
Okay.
For Han Solo, everybody was like, Han Solo!
Like, oh my god!
Nobody recognized Darth Maul because, I did it subtly enough, but, everybody knew I was doing Han Solo.
How would you do Darth Maul? Because I know that the way he's most recognized is by the makeup.
The makeup, yeah.
Right.
I have a lace red and black jacket, so I wear a black jumpsuit, and I wear, these red and black pumps, and I wear, my jacket, and I put on, red and black inspired makeup.
Right.
And that was just my look.
Did you have a red purse to kind of like a subtle reference to a lightsaber?
I don't do a lot of purses, so
That's okay.
no.
Or at least an accessory to.
No, I had red. I also had red earrings,
Oh, there you go.
custom-made earrings,
Perfect.
that I wore as well.
How about you, Nichole?
The first time that I ever went to Disneyland, I was in this sort of long dress with I think I had a white shirt underneath. It was very reminiscent of Ariel's Going About Town dress. I've just been trying to be a Disney character for basically my entire life. I'm a couple years older than you guys. The first movie that I went to see in the theater as a toddler was The Little Mermaid, and I remember I used to sit on the top of my parents' car like it was the rock in the sea and sing Part of Your World. And I've basically been at every opportunity that I can trying to be a Disney character from that moment onward. So, I guess I'd say I'd been Disney bounding before that was even a thing, before I even knew it was a thing. I had Princess Jasmine slippers when I was a little kid, and I was, fun fact, I was in a burlesque troupe in Alaska when I lived there, and I fully made an Ariel costume for one of our shows. It was called Toon Tease, and I was the MC for that show. And so we were all cartoon characters, and I decided to be Ariel, and I took it to the max. I mean, there was a really funny moment when I went to Hobby Lobby, because that was the closest craft store to me,
Right.
and I went and got seashells. They had actual seashells there, and I was going to make a seashell bra, and I just somehow managed to go at the time when every mom had their middle school son in the store. So I was like looking up and down the aisles as I was covertly pressing these like oyster shells to my tits to make sure that they were like a size that
Right.
worked, that I could make a seashell bra to. And I'd be like looking, and then like this mom with like a 12-year-old would go by, and then I'd, fish out another seashell, and so that was a lot of fun. It was totally worthwhile though. I got blue contacts and everything. Like, I've just always, I love Disney so much, and every chance that I get, whether it's in the park or out of the park, I am dressing up like a Disney character.
Of course. So, general, first question, how did everyone discover the term, or at least the trend of Disney bounding, the popularity of it?
BuzzFeed, probably.
I was going to say, I mean, you said it in your intro, and Nichole kind of touched on it. I think people have been doing it forever.
Okay.
But I heard the term Disney bounding maybe 3 or 4 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I heard the term recently.
2014, maybe.
Yeah, within the last 4 or 5 years, I heard that phrase. And now there are Facebook groups that are devoted to it. Like, I follow Disney Bounders on Instagram, and I've been getting more ideas for going hard with it from there. But I
Right.
really became aware of the fact that it was a thing that a lot of people do.
Oh, yes.
Fairly recently.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm the weirdo who didn't even know about it until after I had gone to the park a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It was that time that we went in December of 2016, I think it was. And,
and people thought we
accidentally were dressed like Joy and Sadness, and I was like,
oh, a happy accident right
happening.
there.
Nice.
I don't know what people are talking about. What is this Disney bounding? But okay, I guess I'm Sadness. That's fine.
People who worked for the parks kept coming up to us and referring to us as Joy and Sadness.
That's
Jinx.
adorable.
Sorry.
We owe each other sodas.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was wearing
Yeah.
blue pants and a blue wig and a green coat,
Yeah.
and she was dressed in navy blue.
Yeah.
And, and everybody, yeah.
Cute.
Everyone was like, Joy and Sadness, and I was like,
But that was still
yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
So also, like you mentioned, Sarah, Nichole kind of speculated on this. What is the excitement or connection that you feel towards Disney bounding, towards the excitement, just dressing up and everything?
One of the things that I've consistently noticed about Disney parks over other theme parks is that Disney employees really will go out of their way to make everybody of all ages and backgrounds let themselves be kids and be excited.
Right.
And so if you go, I'm not gonna throw anybody else under the bus, but if you go to just a different kind of roller coaster park and you're an excited adult, you might run into a disaffected teenager who's just why are you this stoked? It's just a insert.
It's just
park
the
name here.
Jurassic Park ride.
And admittedly, this is part of Disney's training process, but Disneyland will be you're here, you are excited, you are allowed to be excited.
Right.
But I totally understand why they can't let adults create these fully fledged costumes. They do
Right.
throw people off. And so it's fun when you are an excited person who just genuinely has a love for Disney movies and the other products that they create to dress up as your favorite character in a way that's not going to get you in trouble. You get that little kid thing. The little kids get to go to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and come out as Cinderella.
Yep.
I want to be Cinderella, and I will do that by any means necessary.
Right. It's even more exciting though when you're in the parks and strangers, or at least even cast members that you've never even seen before, they will be like, "Oh my God, you're such and such."
That's how you know when you have a good one.
So
Yeah,
Disney, when you go into Disney for the first time, well, I mean every time, but when you first go into the park, there's a plaque over the entrance that says, "Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy." And I think that Disney bounding just so encapsulates that. If all of us who are Disney fans are honest, that's the reason that we are such Disney fans, that we have this deep love that goes beyond a casual fandom, where it's you want to enter the world of the past and the future and a fantasy world that doesn't even exist. And when you Disney bound, you get to partake in that and add your own little spin of magic on your experience. And I think that's what's so amazing. Disney is so good, like Sarah was saying, at encouraging adults to connect with that sense of magic and to really embrace that. It's sort of like, in Mary Poppins when like Mr. Banks learns to be a kid sort of at the end. Like that's what we all do when we go into Disneyland. Whatever is stressing us out, whatever's getting us down, we just cast that aside and we go into this absolute fantasy world where we can be just the most joyful, exhilarated, uninhibited version of ourselves.
I adore that Mr. Banks connection.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I like Disney Bounty because it's for everyone. Like, I'm a fat queer woman, and so like I can, like, to be completely honest, like I don't see myself represented in Disney movies like really at all, at least in main characters or characters that I adore outside of like maybe Ursula. I love Ursula, but like Ursula's goals, high key, like Ursula might be who I already am. Like, to be honest,
you may have reached that level.
Like I might already be there, but like I can go into the Disney parks like. As a fat queer woman, I can dress high femme, I can dress androgynously, I can dress like showing off curves, I can whatever, and it's like I feel embraced and I feel like I can become my own version of these characters that I love and adore.
Of course.
And like I follow a couple of like fat Disney bounding groups on Instagram, which is really pretty awesome, like seeing a lot of fat women lead into that as well.
Do you know any of the page names that we can plug in?
I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Didn't you meet Tess Holliday at Disney?
I did, and she knew I was Disney bounding on my birthday. She knew I was Disney bounding. She came, actually, okay, it's a funny story. Yes. She high-key came because of me.
She came to the, just so we're clear, she internationally published plus-size model
Yes, probably the most famous plus-size model who exists in the world.
Yes.
And on your freaking birthday.
Came to Disneyland specifically to meet Darienne on her birthday because I tweeted at her and told her she should.
So what happened was...
Yes.
Okay, so here's what happened. Like, Tess Holliday, like, this is when we both still had a Twitter. Like, Tess Holliday tweeted about... loving to go to the parks to meet fans specifically. She's like, I have an annual pass. I love going to the parks with my family. If you want me to meet you at Disney, I will. So I tweeted her. I was like, well, my birthday is on January 3rd and I'm planning to go. And she's like, that might be able to happen.
And then I harassed her about it every week for the next 6 weeks to make sure she was going to be there.
And then she DM'd me. I'm like, I'm on my way to the park. Where do you want to meet? And I'm like, oh my God.
What a good person.
And we also met her husband, Nick.
We did. He's awesome. He's lovely.
Yes.
Wait, if she came just for you, did you guys spend the whole entire Disney day together?
No, they also had an annual pass, so they did
their
thing.
Yeah, they came with their
family. She came and she talked to us.
You can see video online of Darienne getting more shy than I've ever seen her in her entire life.
There's a video of this?
Oh yeah,
it's on my Instagram.
I took video when it was happening.
You better send me this video so I can post it along with this. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was super lovely and she recognized that because for my birthday I for a while was trying to do villainous characters every year. Like after I did Maleficent for about a year, I was like, I want to do another one, so I tried to do Jafar. And for my birthday, I debuted Jafar, and she recognized that we were Disney bounding. She asked us about it. She asked us what characters we were, and it was super cool. And yeah, I like Disney bounding because I can become these characters that don't necessarily traditionally look like me, and so that's why I enjoy it.
Touching on what you said, Darienne, I mean, it sounds so simple, but it's actually incredibly deep. I mean, it's that sort of it's Shakespearean, Midsummer Night's Dream. You go into the woods and you become somebody that you're not. It's almost bacchanalian. I think it's such a crucial part of the human experience to have those moments in those places and those times where we can let loose of who we are and become something that we never dreamed we could be. And it sounds so simple and it sounds so, kind of basic and childlike, but it's actually very profound and very deep. And I'm really happy you brought that up because that's so much a part of what Disney bounding is, and such a part of what Disneyland is being able to become somebody that you maybe see a little bit of yourself in, but exploring that to its full extent. I think it's really crucial for human development, to be quite honest.
Right. Oh my goodness. Going on to the next question, or actually, I'll input my little what's the excitement I feel. Adding to the whole dressing up androgynously and all that. It's every now and then. I've always loved to dress up in my own vintage style. Every now and then, when I'm dressed out in public, I do have this little insecure feeling like, what if people look at me weird? What if, because not everybody around here sees that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'm approached in public saying, oh, I love your outfit here and there. I feel like Disney bounding for me has given me more of the freedom to dress up and do my own vintage interpretation of Disney bounding on specific characters because of, you know, how everybody at Disneyland now knows this, recognizes this as a normal thing, as a trending thing, as, you know, like I said, it's a revolutionary thing, and I don't think it's going to die down anytime soon.
Like your psychedelic Mad Hatter. You get to sort of...
That's my main one.
Put your, whatever it is that you love, you get to put that on whatever Disney character or theme you want to do, and everybody accepts it and everyone's into it.
Right, exactly, yeah. The psychedelic Mad Hatter is what I've done most of all, a few times here and there. I would get great compliments. I want to say one of the best experiences that I ever had was that it was my first time in 6 years returning to Disneyland. Went with Nichole and Miss Pamela, and there was a point where we were walking over to Big Thunder Mountain, and you remember this story?
Yes, I do.
So we were passing by the King Arthur Carousel, and I heard off to the side from a cast member, oh my God, I love your outfits. And Nichole and Pamela didn't really hear this. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And I brought them back over. So we all started talking about our own little, you know, different outfits that we were doing. I was doing Mad Hatter. You were in a beautiful red dress. Pamela was in, what was she in?
Pamela always looks amazing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
100%. Pamela is the hugest Disney geek, by the way. She is the most gigantic Disney geek I've ever met, and she's 70 years old, and it's the greatest thing. So
I'm hoping to talk.
Never dies.
I'm hoping to talk her into being a guest on an episode.
She totally would.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. I know she loves Disneyland.
Bring me back.
Oh yes. So because of our outfits and the freedom of how we can dress up without any judgment, we had this great conversation with the cast member who ended up not only giving us fast passes for Big Thunder, but I also mentioned that I never have been on the Peter Pan ride. And the cast member looks at me like, what the hell? You've never been on Peter Pan? I'm like, no, the line's always been long. I never gotten the chance.
It's always so long.
Right.
It's like the longest line for the vintage ride.
Oh, for sure.
Always.
So she says to us, wait right here. And I'm like, okay. Walks off to the exit of Peter Pan, talks to one of the cast members there, comes back and she says, okay, come with us, guys. We got directly in Peter Pan directly through the exit. Mm-hmm. We only had to wait a matter of like 3 minutes to get on this beautiful ride.
It's a great ride.
It's still one of my most favorite moments, all because it started with how we dress up. Mm-hmm. And it's just an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Just connecting with people. Another instance was, I want to say a few trips later. This is when I was hanging out with you when you were dressed up as the Black Widow, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So I want to say before we met up, I was walking through the Emporium, and I crossed paths with a lady who was dressed up as Disney bounding as Alice. She was probably in her late 40s. I forgot her name, Hannah or Heather. Anyway, she hand painted beautiful little murals on her dress of Alice in Wonderland. I complimented her, and she easily recognized me as the Mad Hatter. From there, we became such good friends that we hung out another day as Peter Pan and Captain Hook. But you just never know who you're going to meet those days. Yeah. I always encourage, whoever wants to Disney bound, even for the first time, always go for it because you never know where it's going to take you in the future.
Yeah,
totally. You could be a part of a group. You could start your own big group. You could be a part of, something big.
We have two friends who have made lifelong friends Disney bounding.
Yeah.
And also, this is a great segue to the most recent Disney bound. The three of us, Sarah and Darienne and I, all Disney bounded as characters from Moana.
On Dapper Day. Jinx.
On Dapper, and it was my first ever Dapper Day, if you can possibly believe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so much
very
fun.
Successful bound.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the whole Dapper Day experience. Go on.
So I'm going to let Sarah take over. She made both hers and Darienne's costumes, which was incredible.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I know you're getting to this in a second, so I won't try to jump the gun. You don't have to go really detailed or extra with it with a Disney bound. We have very much pulled things out of our closets on most occasions.
But you can if you Moana.
There you go. Darienne and I are about to leave the state, and in Darienne's case, she's about to leave the country. This is our last Dapper Day for the foreseeable future. So we went hard for this last spring Dapper Day, and so I made both of our costumes. We both bought vintage fabrics. Darienne bounded as Moana, and I bounded as Tamatoa.
Yes.
And we both bought vintage patterns. So I bought a recreation of a 1957 pattern, and she literally bought like a carefully repackaged and sealed vintage late 50s, early 60s dress pattern, so that they would be period authentic and like vintage prints.
This was great for them because in real life, Sarah is glam rock, and in real life, Darienne is an island girl.
Yes.
And that was fun because nobody else is ever going to have the exact same thing that you have if you hand make it. So I made myself like a 1957 palazzo pants jumpsuit with this purple fabric, purple and gold fabric for Tamatoa.
I still have to post those photos though of you showing off the entire outfit.
You do with the pants, so
That's
you can
right.
tell because the pants are very voluminous and it looks like a dress if you're standing with your legs together. And then Darienne got like orange and red tiki print. And we made that into a shift dress for her. So we had completely unique outfits, and we went to the parks for the day, and then we met up with Nichole and Downtown Disney for the Disneyland Expo.
Yes.
And I had a sort of off-the-shoulder coral shirt and a skirt that was from Israel, actually, a silk skirt from Israel, but it was all the right colors, kind of the straw color and reds and all those colors from. Obviously, it was Grandma. As I mentioned, she is me, and flower in my hair, and mother of pearl necklace, and a pair of sandals, and it was a lot of fun because it's so funny in a lot of ways. Sarah and Darienne and I are so similar. We're like almost the same person, but when it comes to say like this Disney movie Moana, we each have a character that we gravitate to where we're like, okay, obviously I'm this person, and they're so different. So like Sarah obviously is Tamatoa, and Darienne is Moana, and I am Grandma. So it was a lot of fun to Disney bound. It was also a lot of fun to get a tiki drink in an entire flaming goblet and share it at the end of the day.
Nice. Yes. Oh, man. So were you guys easily recognized on Dapper Day?
We were. Darienne and I got to be... Nichole did not join us in the parks that day.
Oh, no?
No, I just went to the expo.
Oh,
The Dapper Day Expo is separate. You don't need to have an annual pass or buy the very expensive park tickets to attend. So we met her at the expo. We went to the park for the first part of the day, and yeah, we had a couple of people who like shouted at us from afar. They were like yelling song lyrics from the movie at us and knew.
Oh, man.
And aside from the color scheme, we've noticed over the years that like one of the best ways is to like get accessories that match. So Darienne was wearing a lot of shells. I remember we were in line for Space Mountain. We were in line for Space Mountain, Hyperspace Mountain.
I love that photo, that Space Mountain photo of you guys.
Yeah, me holding the wig
yes.
up. Yes.
I love the both of you
guys. There was a woman
yes.
standing in line behind us, and she told Darienne, she's like, I love your outfit. It kind of reminds me of Moana. And Darienne was like, yes.
Nailed it. Nailed
it. Anyway, I'm not a snail, I'm a crab. But, yes. I did a motion. You guys can't see the motion. I did a
Were you trying to crab onto that pun?
I was trying to crab onto the pun, and it wasn't a very good pun. But anyway, and there was a dude who yelled "shiny" at me, which is Tamatoa's song from the movie. Yeah, people knew who we were, I think it helped that we were standing next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick question: based on like other past experiences with the Disney bounding, have you ever been approached by a guest who wanted to take a picture of you and your outfit?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Of course. Actually, so going on to the next question here, which character has been your favorite to Disney bound as? Let's hear it, Darienne. Come on.
Maleficent, but specifically my Dapper Day Maleficent Takes Her Bow Maleficent. That is my favorite one. I bought a mermaid gown off of Amazon. I bought a hair piece to go with it. We got the parasol, and I got the dragon on the parasol. Like, that was my best iteration of Maleficent, and I loved that one. I was actually looking back at pictures of it today because I was going through my Instagram, and I was like, oh, that was my best bound.
This may be a silly question, but because it's ever so rare you will ever see at the park, was Maleficent there when you...
She was not, but they had the dragon at the Lego store.
Yes. That was I remember that photo, yes. Yeah. Oh, man. So.
Yeah, so I was really proud of Tamatoa because I made the outfit myself, but in partnership, I think my favorite bound was that Dapper Day. We went as Aurora and Maleficent, and I bounded as Make It Pink, Make It Blue Aurora. So I was wearing a reversible overskirt that was blue on one side and pink on the other side over a blue dress that I also made. This is a theme for Dapper Days. and I had like a blonde wig, and I got a pink umbrella, and so I could like flip the skirt around to like change the effect of the outfit. And
Of course.
the together people were very clear that we were Aurora, and it worked as a group and as an individual
Right.
bound. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Nichole?
Mine was actually one that was not done at the Disney parks.
Okay.
One year when I was in college, a group of friends and I all went as different Disney princesses, and it was like the biggest coordinated like Disney down that I have ever done. There were probably half a dozen of us.
Right.
We were all different Disney princesses. Even my little sister, who was like a tiny little teen at the time, she came and hung out with me and my college friends as Tinkerbell.
Okay.
And we have a group photo of all of us. There was a Sleeping Beauty, there was a Belle, I was Jasmine, like I said, my sister was Tinkerbell. There were like just a bunch of us, and for the group photo, I was like sitting on a carpet, like holding the edges up like it was flying, and it was just probably the most successful group Disney thing that I have ever done, where it was coordinated and there were a lot of people, because I feel like it's when you're Disney bounding, it's more fun the more people that are involved.
Right.
Because the more that you can rope in and pull it off successfully, the more accomplished you feel. So that was probably my favorite.
And that's where actually I'm going to jump in, saying it's much better to do it with someone else rather than by yourself. Every time I would visit Disneyland, I would make sure. Oh my God, I can hear some buzzing. Anyway, I would make sure not to go by myself, or at least spend the day with somebody. But my favorite Disney my favorite Disney bounding outfit is actually not Mad Hatter, even though I've done his most of all.
Is it Mickey?
It definitely has been Mickey so far with Rachel, doing Mickey and Minnie with
Mickey
Rachel.
And Minnie. Yeah.
Right. The few reasons why I did like it is because, like I said, I could do my own interpretation, but I did the specific Mickey of him dressed up in that beautiful tailcoat suit, the red pants, and then I added a little something to it with the oh my God, why am I forgetting the name of the specific shirt? The shirt with the ruffles.
Yes.
I added I made sure to make it a little fancier, so I made sure to buy some ruffles off Etsy.
A little formal. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, a little formal, and then I also made sure to buy a black velvet coat. I cannot do this without velvet. Velvet is always my go-to.
To be honest, you can't really do much of your life without velvet.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree. So the other fun thing is, getting Rachel excited. By the way, for those who do not know, Rachel is my amazing girlfriend.
She lives across the country, so she only comes out once in a while, but every time she does, they go to Disney.
We always make sure to go to Disney. Without, we cannot miss a day.
What's up, Rachel? How's it going, girl?
I love you, baby. So I've gotten Rachel, ever since I've met Rachel, I've gotten her more and more excited about, going to Disneyland and just Disney in general. And I kindly asked her if our next Disney visit that we could do a Disney bounding thing together. And she was more than happy to do it. And I thought, why don't we just do a generic Mickey and Minnie, rather than try to debate on which other Disney characters should we do. I think in the future we're planning to do a Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin thing. That's one of my ideas.
Cute. That's cute.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Pooh Bear's her favorite.
That's right. Yeah. Pooh Bear is her favorite. So with her, it was a lot easier for her to find her outfit than it was for me, because I had to find multiple pieces. Three different pieces: the coat, the ruffled white blouse, and the flare bell-bottom pants, which it was a little bit of a hassle wearing around because it was a little bigger than I thought. I had to buy an 18 wide in women's.
Girls' clothing sizes are different than men's, so whatever you say will go completely over our head.
Right, that's why I would have to interpret. Sometimes the clothing I buy are in women, so I have to compare the sizes, or at least transcribe the sizes. Anyway, so it was easy for her to find a long, red and white polka dot dress. And once we got in the park, she immediately bought herself some ears to complete the ensemble. And we thought it would be best, especially because it was Valentine's Day. We had ourselves a number of compliments, even from specific characters. We met up with Tinkerbell, and Tinkerbell's telling to Rachel, it's like, you haven't met Minnie yet? You have to meet Minnie. Unfortunately, we couldn't, because every time we see Minnie, the line's always closed.
So long, yeah.
Yep.
Either long or always closed. It's so annoying. But we made sure to go to Toontown to meet up with Mickey. Mm-hmm. And I was hoping to God, because our last visit, he was in his Steamboat Willie outfit. Yeah. We got that. I'll show you that photo sometime soon. But when we went this time, I was hoping to God he would be in his generic black tailcoat outfit. And yes, of course he was. The line was not long, which was perfect. We got to watch, the Mickey Mouse cartoons that we always love to bond over, through the little waiting room area. And so coming up to meet Mickey, it's like maybe 10 guests at a time. And as soon as our turn came up, Mickey points to me like excitedly, knew I was dressed up just like, and I pointed back at him like, we took maybe about a few minutes longer than any of the other guests just to
bro down.
Just to bro down and focus on our outfits, and then we brought in Rachel to pose in between us.
Cute.
And just for the hell of it, I did a little Mickey Mouse impression. It was so bad, but people still like clapped for it
Because you were trying. They appreciated the effort.
Yeah, exactly. I was having
Totes.
fun with it. But yeah, the other reason why I liked this one better than the Mad Hatter outfit is because this one was more comfortable. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as... By the way, whoever wants to do Disney bounding, make sure to try to do it as comfortable as possible because you are walking around the park. You do not want to be uncomfortable. And I speak from experience of... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, Darienne and I have done a range of different types of outfits, and we've worn Spanx and corsets and heels and all kinds of things. Just please make it a comfortable outfit.
You will, just by going to the rides you want to go to, you'll walk a minimum of 5 miles around the park. It's usually more like 10.
I have spent half days at the park and still walked 7 miles.
Oh, yeah.
You will not walk fewer than 12 miles if you're there for an entire day. Please wear comfortable shoes and pants or a skirt.
My most comfortable bound was Black Panther. Like literally just
Iron Man was very comfortable.
Literally just had on black jeans, a black tank top that like
Oh, it's easy, of course.
Like, yeah. That was my most comfortable bound. Yeah. Like yes, please be comfortable.
And especially if you're going in the summer, be sure to dress light.
You can still be extremely stylish and very comfortable. Tomato was comfortable because the pants were so wide. It was basically wearing a nightgown.
Yeah.
My first time at Disney when I had that little Ariel going about town dress was probably the most comfortable thing I've ever worn to Disneyland because it was like just a white shirt with like a, long flowy, tank top strap, black dress over it, and everything was made of spandex, and it was glorious.
Oh yes. Actually, so the day that I went with you and Pamela, that entire Mad Hatter outfit, it's not exactly that comfortable yet. I still find it's worth it, but to have a vest that barely is fitting over you, like a shirt that a polyester button shirt that barely fits over you, and tight bell bottoms is not going to be easy in the summertime.
Don't do 70s at Disney unless you're really prepared for what you're about to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And dedicated. I will also say, even when you're just dressing, the most uncomfortable moment of being in Disneyland, and I don't think I've really shared this I don't think I've ever shared this publicly, only personally with a few people who I've trusted and laugh at me, but who cares?
And now the entire internet.
Yes, the entire internet will know because we drank wine and I don't give a crap anymore. But it was the first time I took Rachel. We weren't Disney bounding, but I did make sure to dress up. I was wearing gold velvet pants, and throughout the first half of the day it was a little overcast, which was perfect. It was a nice cool weather. It's not good to wear velvet pants throughout the park unless you're wearing like, sports boxers or whatever, biker shorts, because it will give you an extremely uncomfortable rash for probably the last few hours of the park. And I say this because this was probably after walking away from Toontown that I started feeling very uncomfortable through the thighs and had this very uncomfortable walk from the town square with the fireworks. I had an uncomfortable walking from there to the tram, then getting off the tram to my car. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing because Rachel was there with me, even though she understood. Bottom point is, dress comfortable.
Yeah, honestly, I almost always make a point to wear a dress or a skirt to Disneyland for exactly that reason, because I just want flowy breezes all over my body as much as possible.
On the opposite side of that, I cannot always wear a dress or skirt because
if your thighs chafe.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Unless like the last time we went when we Disney bound Moana, I was able to bring it in because the guard was cool. A thing of coconut oil to be able to like.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Slather those thighs.
Subvert
that chub rub.
Slather.
Be
and that helps.
Yes.
Whatever's comfortable to you.
I can't. Okay, we also just talked a little bit about on this next question Is it easy to find something straight from your wardrobe for bound design, or would you have to order specific pieces to complete a specific outfit?
It depends.
It depends on a lot of things, and it kind of just it kind of just depends on how extra you want to be, how over the top you want to be. You can very easily Disney bound as just about any character if you're good with color palettes.
Yes.
You have a certain amount of basic pieces, and there are even ways to get details going. So the very first time that I ever Disney bounded, I was Princess Ada from The Home Slave.
Rachel would love to hear this. Sorry.
I already had the purple dress. I already had a green crinoline to go under the purple dress, so I had the accent. And then I painted ants on my fingernails.
That's
and
cute.
so I already had those things, and I was good to go.
If you have makeup, whether you're a girl or a boy, if you're somebody who's into makeup, that's an incredibly easy way to just add the detail. You don't need to buy accessories if you don't want to. You can just take the basic color blocks from your closet and then use makeup to do whatever you want to your face and your hair.
Right, exactly.
We I don't have an annual pass anymore, but Sarah and I both used to have annual passes, and we would have times where we're just like, we should go to Disney this week, or we should go to Disney tomorrow. Like, let's go to Disneyland for a few hours. And we'd look in our closets and we'd find something. Like there's the Hades and
Madame. From villain from the Rescuers.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It begins with an M.
That's how that came up though. Like I had the gray dress,
and I remember her name.
When I first went to Disneyland, the very first time, my friend,
idea.
Madame Medusa.
Oh yeah, Madame Medusa. Yes. My friend, who is really artistic, made necklaces for all of us. Because the first time I ever went to Disneyland, I went to chaperone a trip for my students when I was teaching in Vegas, and my friend who's super creative made us all necklaces of characters that we wanted. So I had Megara, and then I had a gray dress, and I dressed as Hades, and I wore my Megara necklace.
Your blue high tops.
I wore my blue chucks, and I was Hades.
There you go.
And we've done that quite a few times. Yeah. Like, hey, we should go to Disneyland tomorrow. What do we already have? Yeah. And that same day, we were like, well, let's both do villains. And I had a red dress and purple shoes, and so we went. And so I was like, well, I'm either Jessica Rabbit but we're doing villains.
Yes.
By the way, of all these characters that we've mentioned Disney bounding, do you guys have pictures that you can send to me that I can use as an example?
Yes.
Perfect.
I think we have pictures of all of them.
Yeah. I will make sure that you get.
Shall do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, because it seems that we're going to be having to wrap up this podcast. Before we wrap up, is there any first timer advice or anything that we could say to those who want to Disney bound? Speak from those who have who've had a great experience with Disney bounding.
Yeah, start simple and start comfortable, and then work your way up. So you're gonna see people on the very popular Instagrams who made their outfits themselves or bought a custom design. If you're just starting out and you just want to try it, don't do that. I promise you that if you're good with your color schemes, people will figure it out. They always do.
And the way that you can do it really well so that people can identify what you're doing, even if you're going very basic and comfortable, is the accessorizing, the hair, the makeup. Like if you play those things up, then you can basically wear a sack in the correct colors and people will still know what you're doing.
Yep.
And specifically, I want to say something to my plus size babies. Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. Literally, wear what you feel comfortable wearing. Yes. Wear what makes you happy. Don't let anybody or anything discourage you from doing it. Us curvy girls can get it too. We are good at this too.
People have always known what you are, Darienne.
Yeah, they always recognize me.
No matter what you decide you want to go as. Yeah.
And when I wore Maleficent, that was when I wore my Dapper Day Maleficent, it was a risky decision that I made to wear a really form-fitting dress, and everybody was gagging. So
oh yes. So the one thing that Disney is known to do when it comes to Disney bounding is encouraging everyone to just dress up, to be who they want to be in the park, just as long as you're not dressing up exactly like the damn characters where you get kicked out. Anyway, all right. So before we wrap it up, we're gonna do our. I'm just gonna once again reintroduce everybody before we end it. We have Sarah Sheppeck, the author of The Anatomy of a Breakup. You could pick up a Kindle copy on Amazon. We have Darienne Jordan, writer of The Mélange of Her Words, poems about life, love, and self-discovery. Own a copy on Amazon. And then, lastly, we have Nichole Jaymes.
Haven't written a book yet. I do background research for film and TV, and I have non-disclosure agreements, so I can't actually say what I do.
Oh, no. No. You forgot about one thing. She has a lot of submissions in Miss Pamela's Let It Bleed,
that I do. Yes,
which you can pick up on Amazon. And once One more final thing for Instagram. Follow Sarah Sheppeck at Epic Sheppeck, EPICSHEPPECK. Follow Darienne Jordan, the Psalmist, THEPSALMIST. And last but not least, follow Nichole Jaymes at Modminx, MODIM. Oh my God, I'm going to start that over.
MODMINX for me, the Diary of a Mad Modminx.
I like that. Okay, now I don't even want to restart. I'll leave it like that. Oh, once again, this has been a special, very long podcast. The Warholy Talks Disneyland podcast. Please do, yes, woo, of
Thank
course.
you for inviting us. Thank you for having us
for
on the
having
show
us.
and
Thank you
nerding
for
out
hosting.
about Disney with us.
Ladies, you were all amazing, and I can't tell you how proud I am to do this.
Thank
Darienne,
you, sir.
have a wonderful trip. Have a wonderful adventure in England.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful adventure in Maine, hon. Oh my goodness.
And I'm gonna have a wonderful adventure.
Right here in
yes.
Burbank.
Well, I'm gonna have a wonderful adventure driving out to Maine with you and coming to visit you in England so that we can haunt the ghosts.
Yes, we're gonna haunt those haunts.
Haunt those ghosts.
Haunt
Yes.
those haints.
Woo!
As always, this is Warholy. Please do have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
And that's a wrap.